Hello everyone, it's Adamant MTG here to play Magic the Gathering Arena, and today we will showcase a mono blue standard, and you can choose best of one or best of three. With this deck, the best of three version brings in just a couple of tools to help it against, maybe a stronger control deck. I think out of all the monocolor decks, this might be the weakest, but it's an archetype that I've enjoyed for quite some time. And it's pretty straightforward, so let's just talk about how you play the deck and sort of the play patterns. So we're going to move the spells over here. We've got a handful of counters, some bounce, and some card draw engines. And here is the creature suite, sort of balanced across the curve. You have utility creatures, card drawing engines, and ways to basically a lot of evasion. Going with the Brianborn Cutthroats, with the removal and bounce and evasion, this can sometimes get through for the big swings. And the it's pretty straightforward. So let's do a few games on the ladder. We're in Diamond right now, so we'll be playing some best of one, and maybe we can do a best of three run just to see how the sideboard matches up. Go. Although I like the mana consistency of a mono blue deck or any monocolor deck, the versatility of the Dimir Flash feels pretty strong when compared, with this deck. So I'm not sure. There's MTGA Assistant if you'd like to look at that. Looks like a good starting hand. One island for our opponent. Hard to say what they're running. 2 islands. Interesting. Interesting that we paired up against a deck playing islands. Let's see what they do with them. Well, nothing yet. Okay. It's one of those games where Magic says, oh, you must want to play the mirror match. Find that interesting. Say we draw a card and we dare them to block. Pretty cool. We have an opt on their turn to buff our Cutthroat if we want to. Alright. Yes, we had the jump on them, so that was that. Alright, climbing Diamond. Good place to be. Take it for one more spin, best of one, and then we'll do a best of three game. And I'll make these videos short because obviously when you're running a monocolor deck, you're going to have to play it. Understand the matchups. There's new things to learn constantly. Be open-minded to your play decisions and don't take bad luck, or even if you get beat, analyze the game to see what you could have done differently, and obviously what your outs are and what options you have. Sometimes you realize that against the majority of decks. Like, make some notes. The decks you faced, are they common? Or are they decks that are just kind of one-offs or interesting? Because I have noticed sometimes that the really unique decks that you never see, you don't really have to necessarily worry or sideboard against them unless it's an overall strategy. So try to sideboard for strategies rather than cards or a specific deck. So this is green blue mutation or mutate, and it's a pretty good deck actually. I've seen this deck and I was actually pretty intrigued. It's been on my radar for a while and I think it got much better. So we're going to keep our counterspells open actually. I can flash in the Sailor, and I can hold these up for any wild, wacky mutations that are about to happen. They're passing, so that's good. Now 3 in the air doesn't seem like much, but it adds up quick, and as long as I hold up my counters and prevent them from interacting. Like that, do I care? I actually don't care. I'll get blocked here, and that's probably fine. I want to keep the denial up for the mutate stuff. Here, it's just a trade, which I'll accept. Unless they want to do something, and then we'll have to stop that. So now we have to... Could bounce. Fizzle that? No, it doesn't fizzle, it doesn't. Mutate is funky. Unfortunately, this might be a rough turn for me. They have 4 mana up now. And if they mutate, usually the mutates are pretty hardcore, but I can bounce. But you don't have to worry about it. They didn't have anything at 4 mana, which is odd. I have to imagine they have counters or some sort of interactive spells they're not casting. I don't really see why they would hold. There we go. So what do we do here? If I bounce that, it still comes down as a shark, right? But it doesn't get the mutate. So it's just a body. feel like things are pretty rough here. I don't really have any power cards that I could draw to get out of this. My cards are pretty, you know, a lot of little creatures, and this late in the game with continuous bounce, 6/6. Yeah, I don't think we're winning this game. Into an opt. Sure. Will not get through that. All right, let's play best of 3, and then we'll wrap it up. Let me know what you think in the comments below, of course. Maybe this is better in best of 3s because the idea of tempo is supposed to be for stopping the greedier decks, the slower decks. Because you were dealing with a lot of creature-based decks in best of 1, it might be a tough spot. Not really any interactive cards. We might be able to draw cards soon off of the octopus, so let's try. I'm not really 100% sure. Sometimes you have to aggressively mulligan with some of these decks, but this is okay, I suppose. No 1-drops, but except for the opt, I guess. All right. Essence Scatter's pretty good. Team or something or other, maybe elementals, we don't know. Second Uro. Let's draw a bunch of cards, why not? Try to go lethal here. And that was it. We didn't see much of their deck. You know, their ramp something. So I guess versus ramp something, we bring in these. I don't know about these actually. Strokes for sure. And gusts for sure. I typically have a lot of come into play stuff, so we don't want to necessarily give them the ability to cast things again, because they get a lot of triggers, I believe, if they're doing elementals, which we don't know for sure. Bring our creature count down quite a bit, but we hopefully have better counter spell protection. I don't know about these. Yeah. Pretty fast Duro. Burrows seem to be sticky like that. Find one, you'll always find a couple. Okay. I was going to say, when using a spell like that and putting counters on a potential card of yours, try to spread the counters out to the card that your second favorite card, put it that way. Because Spectral Sailor is going to get me card draw, which seems good. And that is probably a better card than Terramander at this point. So putting the counter on Terramander gives them a choice. Take out the card that you like, or take out the card that's doing a little more damage. If you put all your eggs in one basket, as they say, then you are... if you drop the basket, you break all the eggs. I think that's the point of that saying. Hey, that's a scary creature. We will say no to it unless they have the counter, but we have the negate, so we're good. Cool. We did it. Ooh, they're attacking. Oh. They stopped cold because they realized I have flash. At any moment, I can change that. Alright, here's another example. We're going to Octopi on the Pteramander. This will give me a card draw to pump the fairy. Fairy pumping will spread my Nevermind. Streamer forgot about reach. He clearly has a bow and arrow. He clearly is up in a tree. And all those things did not give me any indication that they would be blocked. Ahead of myself. I was getting ahead of myself. I want to keep both the gust and the negate up as long as I can. I'm not too concerned with the blocks here. I'm more concerned with whatever scary stuff they're going to do here soon. That's one of them. It's one of the things I don't want to see. Easy block, one card in hand. They're only at 15, so all these aerial airstrikes aren't really doing much damage, but I'd like to turn up the clock a little bit on them. They're casting this. If I put it back, I feel like that might be the play. They might just bury it to get better cards. They're contemplating. Putting it on top, okay. We're going to draw a card first. Try to close this game out. We're going to do that. We're going to pump it. Oh boy. They have another Genesis Ultimatum. I think they run 3 in the deck. So, pretty nice. And they whiffed, apparently. Cool. So we know this deck can climb. We were able to beat one of the arguable tier 1 decks, but that deck is pretty greedy. Our counterspells did a lot of work there. We had more in the sideboard. Even though we misplayed a little bit, that's okay. Sometimes you can still win games. So, final review of Mono Blue. I like it. I mean, if it's your style of deck, we could tell that it can win games. You just have to sort of play behind the concept of you're getting your creatures out early, you're applying pressure, however much pressure that is, as long as you can interact with your opponent's spells, then you're in good shape. So hopefully you enjoyed the video. Hit the like button, comment below if you have any suggestions or ideas for other videos or other content. I'll be doing my final mono red deck. Basically a deck with a little bit of spicy stuff, but we'll talk about that next time. Take care, have a great day, and be good out there.